So welcome to the Latitude59 pitching finals. Before we start, this is made possible by the great startup support network Estonia has to offer. So the Tehnopol Incubator, International Accelerator, Startup Wiseguys, Garage 48, Mobile Monday, SNR Denton, and Glimstedt. I would also like to ask the startups out there to use these networks, apply, and accelerate your growth. And all the possible mentors, experienced entrepreneurs, specialists, investors, help support the ecosystem. And if you have any questions, come to me afterwards. Preet already started telling that today 5 companies will do a 3-minute pitch. So yesterday you saw 20 companies doing the 1-minute pitch without slides. Today there will be slides. Today there will be a jury. And today there will be questions. We gave 5 minutes time to the jury to give questions to the participants and also 1 or 2 questions from you. With this in mind, I'm going to say the same as the last time. I'm going to ask to make this fun. I'm going to ask to keep the energy level high. It's late, I know, but please make them feel welcome. And please give a big round of applause to the first contestant, InSkilled.
Is the mic on?
Wait 1 sec.
That is my presentation, although it's missing a piece. Oh.
The mic's on.
The mic's on as well.
All right, 3 minutes, go now.
Hi, thank you very much for your support yesterday. Here I am. I am still Madis, and this is Team InSkilled. So, what does InSkilled do? InSkilled is a platform that helps you track and get social credit for what you learn online. Take my example from yesterday, learning 10 hours about pitching. I have no record of that effort, nor of those particular materials. So you remember, something went wrong there. Something goes wrong exactly the same way in about 500 million hours every week when people consume online learning content. 500 million hours. That is a lot. And that effort goes almost unnoticed. InSkilled is here to solve that problem, so that the next time you go online learning, you'll be able to drag and drop, structure content for yourself exactly the way you like it, and create a wisdom profile of that particular effort. On this profile, it will be visible exactly what, how much, and when you have learned in your online learning path. You can share this profile with your friends to get social credit, please, or you can use it to get hired. The choice is yours. And the important part is, now you actually have this choice. So, it is still about getting smart, but it is also about looking smart. Because the average person of my age has about 12 to 15 jobs in his lifetime. That is a lot of switching. And the online education industry is largely built around supporting that switching. Online business-to-consumer skilling and reskilling itself is worth $10 billion every year, and the English-speaking part of that, about $2 billion. We are after that market exactly. So how does InSkilled make money? InSkilled pairs with the top content providers online and creates basically a marketplace. But it is a slightly different marketplace because our users who are learning online are giving us a lot of information about what, when, how, and why they learn. And this gives us a lot of information about what sort of content should we give them to learn even better. We do this in cooperation with our scientific partners from Tallinn University. That is, implementing a scientific adaptive learning algorithm into our learning marketplace. InSkilled works.
Continue, very quickly.
Okay, very quickly. Remember one thing. InSkilled makes casual learning count. Thank you very much.
All right. Questions?
Shoot.
Can you say something about the growth of your market, the annual growth?
Yes, the annual growth of this market and the numbers that I presented here are projected with 2015 in mind, and the market grows approximately 10% every year.
On your business model, do you assume the money coming from the content providers, the universities and other institutions, or it's a model that the users pay for the benefit of being using the system?
We work mostly with an affiliate model, meaning that we drive traffic into the content providers. There's a lot of content out there, and we are basically directing people in the right track. Thank you.
And how will people find out about you?
People find us mostly through social networks, because this is a tool mostly directed towards exposing yourself as being a consistently developing person.
What's your background?
My personal background, I'm a teacher myself and also give lectures in university and work as a consultant, a part of that, business consultant.
What's your educational background?
My educational background is business.
And do you have a product up or a demo?
We have currently a limited access beta version up online.
Yes, that completes my question actually. Do you have any traction already or not? Because last time we met, you were still in a very early stage with your concept.
Yeah, we have small traction from our previous versions. The current version is in fact in limited beta, as I say, and we expect users to start using it this week. So coming out pretty much today.
Is the source of revenue the users or the universities?
Sorry?
Source of your revenue, the universities or the users?
We are in the business-to-customer market, business-to-consumer.
And is it a subscription model, or what's the pricing?
Yeah, that is a two-tier model. It is pay-as-you-go, meaning that when you take a particular piece, you can pay for it directly. And we look into doing a little bit of a Spotify in the learning market as well, meaning going into subscription model later on.
And my last question, when we met in Startup Wiseguys, so we compared this thing to Runkeeper of, let's say, lifelong learning. So how are you positioning between mobile and web? I mean, Runkeeper's application is both on mobile and on web, so do you plan to have a mobile application as well?
Yes, we would like to have a mobile application as well, but this is not the focus for now. We want to be on laptop and desktop computers first and then go mobile as well.
Have you considered a C2C play instead of a B2C?
Yes, we have. Although there are plenty of providers out there currently doing this, such as Udemy, and we want to use them as partners for providing good content. So we want to be a business ourselves and basically drive traffic to other businesses as well as consumers.
We can also ask the public. Are there any questions in the public? Anything else you would like to know from Aris about the business? No? Then I would like to go to our next contestant, if there are no more questions. Okay. Thank you. So, one sec. A big round of applause for Like a Local. Oh.
Is my mic on? Yep. My name is Ylane, and Like a Local Guide helps experienced travelers feel local wherever they go. Think about it. Why do you travel? I think you travel to experience something local, something that you don't have at home. Then why do we still sometimes end up in overpriced tourist traps or go to McDonald's because we don't know any better? We actually conducted a survey and asked people who they want to get travel advice from. And more than half of the people answered that they want to get travel advice from locals instead of other travelers, like on TripAdvisor, or your Facebook friends, like several other sites. Then how come most of the money goes to the smallest sector, the one with paid editors? Because finding out locals' advice, for that you have to read through a bunch of forums or blogs, or actually find a local friend. So what Like a Local does is provides you a travel site where you find out the favorite places of locals. By building a community around the world, we help everyone find somebody that is like them and find the places that you would like if you would live in Barcelona or Paris or New York. You can combine those tips easily into your own personal customized travel guide and use it either online, in your mobile device, or print it out. Independent travel market has been growing for the last 3 decades. And the travel guides market of that makes about $500 million US. Online guides are constantly growing and combine 20% of it. But the potential is even bigger, because the biggest travel site in the world has been growing over 30% annually, and their revenues come mainly from advertising. Our revenue comes from 3 streams: making your life easier with offline maps on your cell phone and using our guides through your mobile device, from services offered by locals, and also from affiliates from different booking sites, Airbnb, and deal providers. We currently have about 50 editors around the world, and we are constantly growing. And by the end of the year, we expect to have 240 editors around the world. Why do we believe we can succeed in a crowded market like that? Because we have already built a travel map brand in 4 countries. And our experienced team has each person over 10 years in either software development, advertising and design, or recruiting and international sales. Thank you very much.
Woo! Questions?
This is a great space. I love it a lot. We are already investors in Gitsy in Berlin. What's the differentiation to them?
I think our main strength is the personalization. So we're looking to build like this twin consumer concept, so everyone can find out what people like them like in every city. So for example, if you're a family with children, you obviously have other preferences than somebody who's a student, but both budget-wise and just interest-wise as well.
How do people discover Like a Local today?
How do they discover it today?
Yeah.
Because we have been publishing paper maps in Tallinn, Riga, Vilnius, and Helsinki, then most people come right now to use the content of those 4 cities because the content for those is quite good. So like one of the main target groups, or one of the very avid user group, is people who are looking for cheap places. So a lot of the backpackers find our site because that helps them find like cheap places.
And they find your site just through SEO?
Cheap okay. Places to eat in Tallinn and different searches like that.
And are you paying for that? Or is there? They just
we have optimized our SEO for like some keywords, and we're like starting to do that more now.
Okay. I would like to see this integrated with a Foursquare kind of application.
Today you can.
When will you launch that app, and I will be your customer?
The basic first version of our web app is actually already available, but you can only use it obviously online, so like that doesn't help with the roaming charges. But for today in Tallinn, you can actually go and use it. And your other question was about the first thing you asked.
I would see Foursquare integrated into your application.
You can today the comments or tips from Foursquare come automatically to our web app. So if you're looking for a place, you can actually get the Foursquare comments right in there.
Thank you.
I said about revenue and getting revenue from locals providing services. What sort of services would locals provide?
Mm-hmm. So that's one option, that when people who like to host travelers, they like to maybe also provide a personal concierge or just like a guide service, so they can do that, and we would take commission from booking those services. That's of course like depends on every person if they want to.
Alan, Richard, anyone else? No? The public? Any questions? No? Any? Yeah?
I have a
Over
mic.
there?
I can ask a question right away. Do you see any problems when scaling to the different cities because you need locals?
Right now, we have been going network by network, so we've been using like existing networks of like, for example, ISEC and BEST and Couchsurfing and Airbnb people, but eventually, of course, like it will start expanding itself. And we're also planning to run a campaign for finding editors around the world, with like a Facebook game type thing where you answer a question and then if you know the answer, you make a great local and right away it transfers you to the site where you can apply to become one of the locals.
Yes?
Hey, I think this idea has been done already a little bit. So, like, for example, Spotted by Locals.
We are very well aware of Spotted by Locals.
Yeah,
Spotted
so they're kind of exactly what you're doing. So how do you differ from them?
Spotted by Locals is a very simple website where you get like a blog-like engine. We just read through all the listings. And what we're building is something that takes into consideration your interests, your profile, and you can get the most suitable places. You can compare yourself to the editors who have written the things. So you don't have to read through everything that every local has written in that city.
Made. How is the profile made?
Today it's not ready yet. We're thinking of two options. One is creating like a test type thing like Flirtic uses, where your interests are determined based on how you answer certain questions, and the other one is based on your Facebook data.
Yeah? One more question. Gentleman in the green? Oh. Okay, yeah.
So I'm visiting from the United States, and I arrived 2 days ago, and I went to McDonald's. Where would you recommend me to go?
What kind of places do you like back in the States?
I want something unique to Estonia.
Okay. Are you willing to go outside of the old town?
No.
Okay. Something unique to Estonia. Then
walkable.
on Rataskaeva Street, there's a very nice restaurant called Aed, the Garden. You can ask for the garden. And it has like organic Estonian modern cuisine. So that would be something specific that you could try.
Okay, cool.
One more question, yeah?
I have seen in your report that recommendations from friends are also quite highly ranked, even if less, not at the first position like the local recommendation. Have you thought about integrating it with like a friends recommendation, and especially have you thought about the second degree, the friends of friends, that could open a lot of doors?
Mm-hmm. We have, and like of course we're going to integrate some sort of like Facebook friends, like what they like and what they don't like thing. But like the main target group is still the people who want to know where the locals like to go. So for example, among my Facebook friends, there's maybe only about 20 that I actually have the same taste with. So we're like mainly focusing on the fact that you can get recommendations from people like you in that city. So, but it's going to be some different. And you think friends of friends would make a better recommender? We'll think about it.
Was there any more? One
Richard
last
has a question.
Richard. Can we do microphone?
So far we have, but like having been to Silicon Valley for last 2 weeks, one of our founders, we're going to make the content a lot easier to create. So there's going to be 2 levels of people. There's going to be like the ones who write reviews, like a long recommendation, and there's going to be people who just like recommend it or vouch for the place. So a lot of people can like help in creating the content as locals, but the ones who write the longer listings, we usually like confirm those.
Okay, thanks
At least
a lot.
they know English.
Big applause.
Thank you.
All right, just putting up the slides for our next team.
Can I come?
Oh, it's the wrong one. Weather me. Weather me. Sorry. Weather me.
Oh, hi.
Here, Martin. The clicker.
Okay. Hi, thanks for having us here again. I thought I still have one person to go, but hey, I can just start speaking. So I'm Martin, I'm from WeatherMe, and what we're doing is increasing production for farmers. So imagine for a second, looking out of an aeroplane window, what do you see? You see farming fields as far as the eye can see. But really managing those fields can be a real rocket science. You have different chemicals, different plants, different fields, and all of them depend on changing weather. So it can be quite difficult, and I can tell you an example of a farmer that I know. He lost. Does this work? No.
Doesn't work? Wait.
I'll use this. So he lost 10% of his crops because he sprayed at the wrong time. If it has been dry for a long time, you shouldn't spray because you damage your plants. But to know this, you really have to mark down the weather every day and then analyze it manually later. And it can be a really difficult task to do. So you need a tool for that. Those tools exist. Next slide. Oh, now it works.
Go back one more.
Yeah. Those tools exist, but they are physical devices, so they are very expensive and complicated to use. And in most places in the world, they actually get stolen from the fields. We think there's a better way. So we think the farmer should have a simple device on which we will send him relevant alerts. We will do all the complicated stuff in the background. So what we do is we analyze the weather on the fields with weather satellites. We then analyze it on the servers and match it to the database of plant diseases. And the farmer will just receive a simple alert on his mobile phone. And talking to our existing customers is great because they're saying, hey, thanks for doing this because finally someone is thinking with us. And thanks for telling me that today it's raining on that field, so I should go work on this field. And that on that far field, 30 kilometers away, I have a plant disease spreading, so I should take action early. And that way I saved a lot of money. We have, without any advertising, already covered 1% of the Estonian market. And if we could do the same in Europe, our revenue would be 13 million euros already. We have a great team, a product manager from Skype, a PhD on plant diseases, a great developer, and a weather scientist. And what we need is an investment to start expanding. Thank you.
All right. Questions?
You estimated the European market to be 30 million. How did you come up with that figure?
So we have covered 1% of the Estonian market, and our revenue would actually be 13,000 in here. And by all of our calculation, the whole of Europe is 1,000 times bigger than Estonia. So there's 1,000 times more farmers there.
What's the model? How do you charge the customers?
It's a monthly fee.
So, tell us about your data. So basically, you claim that your data on field by field is accurate. So what is accuracy level? You have measured it.
So the accuracy level is 1 kilometer, a kilometer by a kilometer, and that's 10 times more accurate than the usual weather forecasts, because the governments don't put the money in to kind of narrow down the grid. But what we do is we just cut out one piece in the land and calculate the smaller grid there, so it's not that expensive for us.
Are you getting paid for the 1% for Estonia?
Sorry?
Are you getting paid for the 1% for Estonia?
Could you, I didn't.
For the pilot customer, for the customers that you have right now, the Estonians.
Yeah.
Are you getting cash? Are they paying you?
So they're not paying us yet but we have revenue, but we have revenue from the farming community, so that actually pays for them, and we have a deal, so they pay less. So it's not what we would normally charge.
And they're paying the 13,000. Are you getting 13,000?
Yes, it's 20 euros per month,
okay.
And I've spoke to a lot of them, and they're willing to pay this money.
Oh, but you're not collecting it right now. You don't have.
No, we just write the chunk of a bill to the farming community right now.
Okay.
One of the things that worries me is the European agriculture all the farms in Europe are very fragmented, and many of them are very small. How are you going to sell this efficiently? You can't visit every farmer and convince them.
Exactly. So 2 ways to do this. One way is to do exactly what we did here in Estonia. So go through a farming community. That way you have to sell only one time. And the other version, which we will use also, is go through farming consultants, because those consultants visit a lot of farmers. And it can be actually a very good tool for them also.
Actually, do you have data if it works, if actually the yields are better for your customers?
Not exactly, but almost, because we are working with an institute in Estonia, and they have done like A/B testing with fields. So what happens if you spray, what happens if you don't spray? And we're actually using the exact same rules in the system that they used in the testing, and they got 10% higher yields. So we can assume that we can replicate that.
Can you repeat what you charge? You said 20 euros per farmer
month.
or per...
Per farmer per month.
Okay, isn't it too little? I mean, if the guy is saving like thousands or tens of thousands or millions, if they have a bigger farm?
It can be, and we can try to charge more, and probably for the large corporate customers we will charge more. But generally we have seen that the farmer, why we are better than those manufacturers of those physical weather stations is that the farmer thinks with the money in his pocket, and he sees that, okay, I don't have this amount of money in my pocket right now, so I won't buy these weather stations. And the same way they think about us. So we have tested this, and we've seen that 20 euros is like an average farmer is willing to pay for this. Not more if they haven't yet seen any like physical proof.
Are there no governmental agencies that provide on-time, real-time data to farmers based upon the data that's being captured by the satellites now? Aren't you going to compete with the government in a way?
Yeah, so there are a lot of government agencies doing it, especially in the US, less everywhere else. But the data they're providing is also, they don't narrow it down so much, and they don't do it specifically for your needs in that region. So we are trying to be a step ahead from them and kind of customize it for each region.
Aren't you getting the same data feed that they're using though, and just dividing it up in narrower increments?
Yes, we're getting the same data. We're just putting more effort into it.
Okay. Okay. One more.
Yeah, on the satellite imagery, how do you determine if a particular area is diseased and with what disease?
Mostly the plant diseases start developing due to weather conditions. So if the weather reaches favorable conditions, then it starts spreading. And we don't use satellite imaging, we use weather satellites. So we track if the situation on this field is suitable for that disease, and then it's a very high likelihood that there is the disease also there.
Okay, one question from the public. Anyone? In the back?
How about IP?
IP, good question. So we're actually, the weather data that we're using is public data. It's basically like the GSM signal. The US government has made it open, but you require a lot of knowledge to use that. It's like you have to program in Fortran, and not a lot of people can do that. And on the other side, we're gathering data from government agencies that are testing these plant diseases, and we are putting those things together. So we are not exactly creating new technology, we're just unifying two technologies. It's yet to be seen if there's something there that can be put under IP.
Okay, big round of applause, thanks.
Thank you.
So the next team will be Innovative Parking Solutions.
Hello. Hello, everyone.
My name is Trine, and I'm the CEO of Innovative Parking Solutions, and I'm here to tell you about our GPS-based parking payment. What's happening? I didn't push any button. Parking payment system. So if I want to tackle the problem, I actually have to ask you, how many of you driving cars have got a parking penalty? Ooh. Okay, so there's a problem. And we have asked people what they want from parking, and they want it to be painless, automated, and that no risk of user error involves. So our solution is very simple. It's GPS-based parking payment device. You put it in your car cigarette lighter, you drive, you park your car, you leave the car doing nothing. The device gets your car's location, sends it to the service center. If you come back, you just drive away, and the service center gets the signal from the device and calculates your overall payment. So you have to do nothing, just pay the bill. Besides you, end users, saving money and time, also it generates 25% of more revenue for cities and parking operators, and it also helps to save a huge amount of money on parking infrastructure. So our mission is that all people feel that it's all been taken care of. So the solution gives a win-win-win result. Cities gain more money, actual data, the traffic management efficiency rise, parking operators get more money, actual data, and increased customer satisfaction. And of course, for end users, the outcomes are no penalties, no over or underpay, and actual data. The business model is very simple. We sell our device and service as white label brand through parking operators to end user. The end user pays parking operators convenience fee, and they in turn pay us license fee. At the moment, we are doing the customer trials with TeliaSonera-owned EMT and G4S-owned Ühisteenused. Ühisteenused is the biggest parking operator in Estonia. We are targeting Scandinavia, 20,000 users and $1.8 million in revenue and 600,000 in profit. After that, 100,000 users, 13 million in revenue, and 6 million in profit. Our team is very strong with 10 years of experience on location-based services and also very good marketing skills. So we are looking for and initiating dialogue with qualified investors for $500,000 US to launch sales and our product in Estonia and also expand abroad. Thank you very much for your attention. I wish you all the best.
All right. Questions?
What's the role of the local parking police in this system? I show up at a parking spot. How does the meter maid, as we call them in the United States, know that I'm a subscriber and I've paid up and everything's in good order or not?
We will. Most probably, if we go abroad, we will follow the same pattern that is in Estonia. In Estonia, 90% of people use mobile parking, so there has to be some kind of control mechanism first. So the mechanism is actually very easy. You have like an application for smartphones, and if the ticket person comes, he pushes the number, your car number in, and he gets the answer if the car is parked or not. So it's not very costful even, and it's easy to implement.
Can you just explain how it works? I mean, you have a small device in a car, which you put in a car charger.
Later.
So who buys it? I mean, shall I buy it?
Yes,
that's
the
my
end
first
user.
question. And secondly, shall I switch it on when I'm parking my car?
The device has two modes. You can choose. Do you want it to be totally automated, or do you want to push the button manually and that starts parking? Anyway, it ends parking automatically, so you basically can choose.
Okay, so but can you just explain? I mean, two issues. First, if I'm stuck in a traffic jam for 45 minutes and suddenly get the parking ticket for that, so that doesn't make much sense. And B, what
you can switch it off. So if you have in a situation of, let's say you are like in a center town and you are in a very bad situation where you're in a traffic and you're standing or standing on the parking payment area. Okay. So you switch off your mobile, you take the key out. Okay, if you do that, then of course you have to push the button, hold it down so it will switch off.
Okay, and my second question, how do you deal with GPS inaccuracy? And we have also parking zones. I mean, we may have like 10 meters difference, but dramatically different parking fees. So how do you deal with that?
Well, I'm very happy with this device. It has the most high-tech GPS device in it. So as we have tested so far, the accuracy has been 1 meter, not more.
But in a high-rise environment like in New York, probably it's different.
Well, we will see. Estonia is not so complicated.
You just mentioned that most smartphones have the GPS built in. So why would you make another gadget to sort of carry around? What's the reason for that?
That's a very good question. The problem is that with smartphones and those applications, there is no way how to indicate to the mobile that now the car is parked. So it will do all the work automatically. So the problem is actually I'm solving my pain, for example, with this device. When I park my car in a paid parking area, I usually have lots of stuff to do. I'm maybe on a phone with someone, so I'm running away, and I forget to start parking. So I get a penalty for that. Or I will come back to my car and, I forgot to put parking on, and then I see, I didn't get any parking penalty. And that's actually a loss for the city and the parking operator. And of course, yeah.
So I love this model. So if it does take off and it works, everybody likes it, and a competitor, just takes your technology and reverses engineers it and builds the exact same product, and you're going and you're selling to a new city, a new municipality, is there a reason why that municipality would choose you over a technologically identical alternative? Well, first of all, of course, we will have our IP protected. So, but it's a very tricky question actually, because then I have to dream or make this visualization if there's a competitor who does something like that. So why are we better than them? Is there a
their
network
design sucks.
Well, I guess what I'm wondering is there a network effect or anything where it's more than just the technology, or is it just the solution itself that you're selling for a new customer?
Yeah, it's the device, the functionality of it. Of course, it uses technology that's already on the market, so there's no, let's say, invention like this, if they say. But all it together as a service, the software, the database, everything. We will have a huge database with the data of cities where people park exactly what time. So it's very beneficial.
And the answer to Ravi is that you are executing better than your competitors, of course.
Definitely. And by that...
My question to you is, what are you thinking about distribution? This, for me, this is a complicated distribution. You have a smart way of doing it?
Yeah, well, the strategy at the moment is that we don't do it by ourselves. It will be impossible maybe now. But so we take case by case, every country case by case. So, example in Estonia, we can do it through Wiseguys, that is the biggest parking operator, or through EMT, that is the biggest mobile parking provider. When we go to Finland, we maybe have to do it with a parking operator owned by city. So in every case, we have to find the link through whom we are going to the market.
My last question, have you thought about additional revenue streams? Like you can probably use it for toll roads, you can use it for opening the gates. Yeah. So maybe even sending automated speeding tickets if you're driving too fast with this device.
Thank you, another idea. Thank you, speeding tickets. Applause. We haven't thought about that yet. Tolling everything. We can keep a travel diary with it. So for companies, it will show where the employees drive with their cars.
What's the cost to manufacture the device likely to be in volume?
The own price of it?
Yeah.
At the moment, when we have produced 100 pieces, it's 60 euros approximately.
And in high volume done in China?
No China. The keynote technique just said that no China.
Okay.
So Taiwan. So
okay,
I think that we can maybe, yeah, we can definitely decrease the own price, definitely. And of course, the pricing will be thought really thoroughly how we will sell it to the end customer. We will not give them for free, that's for sure, because people have to learn to use it. So if we give them for free, it's like, okay, I got this device for free, so I don't like it, I just throw it away, so I don't learn to use it. So all new technologies have to be a bit costful at first, so that people really want to learn.
Is there anything unique in the architecture of the system that might give to some patent protection? Some patent protection. Is there anything unique about
patent protection?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. There is a huge IP here, so we have to. We have had consultancy about this, what we should do, and our patent is pending the application. So.
Okay. So I'd like to have one question from the public, if there's anyone. Yes, gentleman in the front. Wait for the mic. Wait for the mic.
Can I have water, please? Can I put some water?
Okay, the question actually is, how do you think if people will be happy to have a device which monitor them all the time when they are in car, like a big brother, and can say it possibly is, like send a speeding ticket to you in automatic mode? Like, will the end user be happy about it?
The device will follow you only when you are parking in a paid parking area. So it locates your position only then. We don't have the data when you go to your grandmother's place in the countryside where there's no parking place.
Okay, applause. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next team. Gate me, big applause. So, try the clicker.
Yeah. So, dear ladies and gentlemen, my name is Janar. I'm the CEO and co-founder of GateMe. GateMe is the first and only guest list and event management platform designed for nightlife industry professionals, for club managers, for promoters, and for event organizers. Think it as an Eventbrite that has been redesigned in cooperation with nightclubs. Managing guest lists in the nightlife industry is really troublesome. Hundreds of emails, phone calls, and messages are sent every day by promoters and nightclub managers to the club, and one person has to print them out. In cooperation with more than 30 nightclubs and promoters, we have compiled an online platform that allows club managers and promoters manage their list at any time, anywhere, to see live statistics of the venue, attendance. And clubbers, by the way, can buy themselves into the guest list using a mobile app. The revenue model is really easy. We take 5% on each ticket sold through the system, but we are monetizing each club and event organizer at least 100 euros per month. We are already live in the Baltics as well as in London and we are in Miami, but we have interested parties all around the world, including even Tunisia. In the market, there is actually 300 million euros if you consider only US and EU, to say nothing about the world market. There are competitors in the market, but those are whether built on old platforms or they lack nightlife-specific features. We are different because of the really good UX design and value for promoters and clubbers. The team we have is very young, but super talented. On our advisory board, there is already a Tehnopol incubation manager from Estonia and previous club owner from Paris, who is from Las Vegas. We're raising 400,000 euros in order to scale this business model to 1,000 paying customers, which gives us 100,000 euros each month. So if you didn't understand anything what I was telling here, so please visit our booth there. We are here, and if you have any questions, then please welcome. Thank you.
All right. Questions?
Are you going to have an inside sales team to target the clubs to go after them? Or
so far we have done so that I have done the sales, but we have already a distributors network in Miami as well as in London. So we're making a commission-based distributor network.
You said it will cost 99 euros per club per month, is that correct?
And event organizers as well.
Yeah, okay. So I remember myself paying $100 to get into a fancy Los Angeles nightclub. So it was me alone just to get in as a bribe. So isn't it much better business model, I mean, to collect payments from those people who are willing to get into the list instead? I mean, it might be many times bigger.
Yes, we are also hoping so that the user side will grow after we get the clubs. But at first we have to get a lot of clubs. That's why we decrease a little bit the price in order to get more clubs and event organizers to use that. Then they will promote us to the users. Then we have better coverage for the users, and then we can implement actually this business model, which actually you can build a lot of business models on top of this platform. Thank you.
And does your model or the deal with the clubs allow you to sell the information onwards? So I know that where the people are now going. The list in that club is piling up. I want to go there. That club seems to be empty. I want to go there.
You mean the list is public?
Yes.
Currently, no lists are public. We are very confidential towards the clubs about the information we are having on our servers. But we have really good ideas how to start publishing as well a little bit of this information, just to be also careful with user privacy. Thank you.
What's the vision for this? So in 4 years, what does this become?
In 4 years, it's a huge portal where there is 2 parts. One is the user side, where you can see nearby nightlife events, which is actually working already now in Estonia, and you can check what is the best place you should go tonight according to your previous check-ins in different clubs, in different events, and according to your friends' check-ins in different places. And there is also the kitchen part for the nightlife industry, where the promoters and event organizers and nightclubs are managing that.
And what's your current traction?
Current traction is that we have a little bit less than 30 clubs using this software, majority of Estonian biggest nightclubs, and some clubs in London, and some event organizers in Miami.
And revenue?
Revenue, I cannot say the exact revenue, but I'm saying it's small still. It's less than 3,000 euros per month, but it's growing.
I really like the opportunity of add-on sales to this customer base that you are building up. How do you think around that? Because there must be a lot of paths that you can follow that will really expand your business, as you have briefly touched upon here. Can you elaborate a little bit on how you see your business area growing?
I didn't get to exactly.
Okay. Today you are managing guest list for clubs.
Yes.
Yeah, but there is larger events, football games. I can see a number of areas where you can move into.
Yeah, this is where we want to really be much different from Eventbrite. Eventbrite has taken a really broad view on make your event, whatever kind of event, a success. We want to be really good at nightlife, so we want to be really good at this industry. Of course, different parties, it doesn't matter whether it's in a club, of course it can be like a huge, whatever, stadium, or it's still like, as to the parties, then we have like more value also towards the users, because then there is like a common name, like identifier called a party as such. Thank you.
Any other questions? Last one, yep.
Yeah, you said something like the market size was 300 million euros. How are you, or what are the assumptions on how to measure that size of the potential market?
You mean the global market?
Yeah.
yeah, actually there are not so very good numbers also as to the EU and US. It was a little bit expectable number according to the number of clubs in UK, which we know exactly, and we understood that there is actually a really high correlation between the number of people in the country and the number of clubs, funnily. So we calculated according to that, and also including event organizers. But if you want to calculate the global market, we can do the same. But I don't have exact number to tell you. If you are very interested, I can tell you afterwards.
No, so it's just so based on some number of this many nightclubs in this market multiplied by the number of markets and nightclubs.
Multiply just minimum 100 euros per club per month or event organizer, and then it's just like a minimum, very minimum, which you can get actually.
Okay. Any questions from the public? Looking around. Anyone? All right. Then a big round of applause. Escape me.
Thank you.
So what we're going to try to do today is to get the vote on the stage. Normally the judges would leave to the back room, discuss and come back, but that means that you're just staring at an empty stage. So we're going to try to do this interactive. I'm going to ask the judges what they think. So just do one round. Just try to get a discussion going on, starting by Richard. What do you think? Who do you like? And not so much voting at this point, but just what do you think about the participants? Can we give a mic to Richard?
I actually like the idea of WeatherMe, the fact that they get a free feed from the existing satellite infrastructure, and it's, you know, the computational challenge doesn't seem as high as it's, you know, it's obviously complicated. Fortran coders have sort of died out, but it's something that can be learned, and it strikes me that outside of California, where the weather's always the same, that this is a critical problem that could help improve crop yields and thus reduce food costs around the globe, and be particularly interesting in areas that are challenged by drought and other things like Northern Africa.
I carry on the WeatherMe. I believe that they underestimate the market potential hugely. The market is much bigger. And the weather is one thing that really interests of farmers. So having access to the farmers also perhaps enables them to expand the business models on selling information to farmers in the other fields that interest them.
Anyone is like pro for another company?
I do think they need to have a different revenue model. 20 euros per farmer, irrespective of the size of the farm. I mean, if I was doing this, I would start at 20, you know, 1 euro per hectare, and for big farms, you reduce it to 50 cents.
Any other favorites?
I have a couple of favorites. I'm still thinking here. When I listened to innovative parking, I was thinking this solves a real problem for me. And you know, that's one important thing about having a good company, that you are approaching something real. Then I liked like a local. That's also a kind of information I would like to have when I travel around, and it's true. That's not what I find usually in my Michelin guide or whatever I'm using when I'm traveling. The first company we saw, InSkilled, I also liked. I'm not really sure how big the market is today, but I agree with them that this market is growing. And this issue with me being overflowed with information, and I just can't digest it, and I need tools to handle it. So that solves also a real problem for me. So I'm still thinking.
And I have to say that all the presentations as presentations were pretty good.
Yeah, I second on that. I have a trouble of picking the winner here from my perspective. In Skilled, I would say the presentation was the best if you look at the presentation technology, but the business model was a bit of a weak for me and the market size not that clear. Like a local, somewhat me too business, but on the other hand, the business model as such was already proven in the market and there was some special twist on it and the presentation was fairly good. Whether me, most unique in a way, but on the other hand, how to get money out of farmers, it's a bit difficult. Or where to exit that company, don't know yet. So it's a difficult. And innovative parking solution, very concrete added value as said here, but on the other hand, there seemed to be a bit of a lack of own IP. There was some proof of IP there, but no real concrete evidence on that. So that would make it a winner for me if there would be more proof of a real concrete IP to give them an edge in the market, not just execution, but some protection. And GateMe, presentation was another good presentation. The market size, I don't know, for me, I a bit of a hesitate, but there seem to be other monetization models as well, so it has a good start as well. Difficult judge here. I cannot pick instant.
That's fine.
Winner.
We're going to do the voting in a bit. Just discussion is great at this moment.
Yeah, just to make a comment also on presentations, it was looking at the team, it was particularly clear for me on the WeatherMe team slide. It was nicely presented to say that here are the team members and these are the known brands or other previous companies where they have been. So instantly I could understand, okay, someone's come from Skype and someone's got a PhD in crop science, and I thought that was a nice way to present it.
I liked all of them, and I sort of want to play with the products, right? So you sort of want to feel around with them. My favorite was Like a Local. And it was partly because when you look at things, one of the things, well, one, I loved that team. I don't know what it was about, but that team just looks like it's a team that executes well. And then the other thing is sometimes you want to think about not just how, how big something can get, how crazy something can get. And, the most amount of capital you lose when you invest is 1x. So the idea can be, you can lose 1x your capital, but you want to think if there's like the possibility for it to grow and become something weird and something different. And I just got that feeling with Like a Local, with the personalization meme, or how you're going to find your doppelganger or whatever, that was sort of neat, and you could do a lot with that later on, and it's capital efficient, and you can grow a really crazy business that way.
Yeah, I guess all companies are targeting real problems here. So we could, all of us could see ourselves using this sort of service or product. WeatherMe, for instance, is a good problem to solve. Of course, we had some questions regarding the business model, how we would do it probably differently or so. But in any case, I think this is an interesting project. Regarding the parking solutions, I agree that this is a very practical day-to-day problem that the company is trying to solve. I'm not so excited about this additional gadget that you have to buy. I think we have too many gadgets, and I would suggest doing more with less. And I mean, we have GPSs and all this stuff, so I would want to see a project that solves the same problem with existing hardware. Yeah, but otherwise, I think great presentations, so congratulations to all of you.
Thank you. Alan?
Yeah, so first of all, again, I agree with everybody else. 5 great startups and average quality, above average I've seen in other competitions like this in our part of the world. A few comments. So GateMe, I believe it's interesting approach, but its business model shall be turned around. I mean, the clubs will be willing to pay less than the clients. So the clients probably will be willing to pay much more to get into the list than the clubs to manage the list. So probably like 100 times bigger revenue potential if you turn it around. So WeatherMe, I know this startup because I've been a bit mentoring it in the Accelerator. The biggest problem here is the quality of data. So, and they need really to prove the farmers that the data quality is good, because if they start to spray the crops in the wrong time based on the data on weather means, so there will be huge court cases and they will actually lose all the money and probably pay millions in damages. So coming from other end, in-skilled, and not so many people commented on it here, but I actually like the startup because more and more people actually are learning something, so, and they are more and more using interactive and electronic the courses and material for that. So it's basically a motivational tool, it's also a sales tool, so kind of directory where I can get different courses. So I like it, actually, it's a big and growing market, and they are kind of trying to establish themselves. Like a local, I think Artur, you said, is going to meet you a little bit, and it's a huge market and definitely a big need, but there are so many different alternatives so to get this information. And finally, my personal favorite, innovative parking solutions. And telling you why, I mean, first of all, it's a huge market, it's billions of dollars, and basically what we are paying for when we are parking, we are paying a fee to occupy a certain point in space with our car. So, and it's basically a market which has been like in Stone Age so far, because we are paying using coins, and there is no dynamic pricing. Only I know the city of San Francisco is now experimenting with dynamic pricing to keep at least one spot available in each region of the city, and so forth. So it opens so many different opportunities, and I regard this company as a kind of innovation in the business process itself. It's not about the gadget. It's about forgetting about traffic or the parking zones and coins and everything. It's about where you stop, and more or less accurately. And when you stand and stop for a certain period of time, you'll get charged, and that's it. And if you agree, if you sign up and to be okay with certain, let's say, inconsistency here, so it's fine. But you can suddenly be applied to dynamic pricing in parking, and this is probably something which is very, very interesting. Thanks.
Okay. So what I'd like to ask you is go for your own preference. Everyone has an opinion, but try to stick to your own opinion and cast one vote. I'll mark them, and hopefully we have a winner after the votes. If it's a tie, then we have to continue. But let's start. Maybe Richard, you're number one.
As much as I like Weather Me, I think I'm going for parking.
Okay. Let's go, Alan.
Yeah, you have my favorite, parking.
Okay.
I would also go for parking, but with no gadget.
I'm going for like a local because of how big it could potentially get.
Okay.
I got to be careful here not to... Let's go in skilled.
In skilled.
Weather Me.
Weather Me.
I like businesses selling information, so Weather Me.
Weather Me. Okay, interesting.
I'll give my vote to like a local.
Okay, then we have a winner. The winner is Innovative Parking Solutions. I would like to ask all 5 startups to come to the stage. Please come. We'll start with you. InSkilled, thanks for participating in the final. Big round of applause for InSkilled. Weather Me, big round of applause. Like Local. And Gate Me. And finally, the winner of the pitching competition, Innovative Parking Solutions. Congratulations. Big round of applause. So I'd like to give the word to Fried to close off.
Thanks. Hey guys, you were so amazing. I think your pitches are amazing. You did a really good job. And thank you for participating, and hope that this kind of position in finals and the win will help you forward in your business and future ventures. Thanks again.
All right.